I have to be careful whenever I'm dealing with political stuff, not to cross certain lines, you know, or you can get in trouble. I mean, but I'm the first one to tell everybody, hey, I am a far left progressive liberal. So anything I say is going to skew that way. And if you don't like it, go to another channel. That's just me. And I don't hold it against you. You've got your opinions and beliefs, and I have mine. That, and they're starting to get more and more crazy people out there that are,
I know.
I mean,
holy moly.
Speaker of the House, somebody breaks in and attacks her husband with a hammer. The man was 82 years old. You know, it's like, really? I mean.
But you know what I'm getting with that? Because I have a lot of Republicans in my life, but they're not extreme. Like, they wear the mask. Like, sometimes the media only shows the worst of the Republican and the worst of the Democrats. They are moderate. But it doesn't mean they don't get caught up. Like, if they're only watching Fox or Newsmax, and they're working all the time. A lot of my Republican family, they work all the time. They're not on seeing every little interview that Donald Trump does, that's like out of you know, or whichever side. But I'm hoping. I don't think they just seem like they noticed. Like, I'm just hoping like maybe that was needed in a bigger place. To speed up, like, listen, there's something going on, guys. A lot of people are too distracted. They're working. They don't know every little angle. They're not the people we see in the media that's so extreme Republican that that's not the Republican in my life, but they do watch Fox News. So, you know, I hear them say certain things that kind of like, when you watch something, can help but be affected. So, I mean, I'm hoping people wake up a little bit more. I'm starting to see a lot of like my spiritual people that believe into conspiracy theories. I'm like, they have the intuition. How do they not know?
Yeah.
And I have a theory on that.
And it's like, they're not stupid. I'm
surrounded by half truth. Like, for example, the Eli's are bad. The weird things that going on in Hollywood, blah, 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 blah. Those are true. But what the darkness are doing is they take the truth and they turn it to the other side. And that's where our people who are getting duped, not seeing. So they're like, no, but that's true. There are like bad military people in our government. There are this. But they're not seeing that the so-called dark are twisting it, taking that half truth and making it go, oh no, them, it's not us.
One of my cousins that I grew up with, he's like 7 months younger than me, I think it is. I mean, so we grew up together. And then his sister, who's several years younger, I mean, he's hardcore Republican. And here in the last couple of years, we've kind of reconnected again. We've kind of lost touch with each other. And because he doesn't live that far, he's maybe an hour's drive from where I'm at. And he'll get on the phone and call me to ask me about stuff that's just some of the most off the wall stuff. And I know that's where he's getting it from, is Fox and Newsmax and all those places. And I just say, okay, stop. First, let's go with facts. Then I'll go run down through his list and you know, that's not true. This is a true. Here's the fact on that. You can look it up. Google it.
They don't want to hear "I told you so," so they're just kind of go like and focus on something else.
Gonna go get his flu shots.
Tony. So actually, I don't do that. I told you so. Or I just kind of listen to them. Cause now they're like, oh, they're kind of like waiting Trump, but now they're focusing on DeSantis. I'm like, we have to kill one stone at a time. I know they're both bad, but now at least they're like moving away from Trump and they're, you know, focusing on something else.
One of our senators down here who's very hardcore right wing to the extreme.
Right.
And he's done several advertisements now that run all the time on the local TV stations talking about, oh, isn't it wonderful? We got this done and we got this and we got the other. And I'm sitting there and I watch it and I think, and you voted against every one of those items. But now you're going to do an ad and say, isn't it wonderful? We got $2 billion for infrastructure. Well, no thanks to you. I mean, you voted against it. I mean, it just really makes me mad how they...
So we have to let it go, because I could be like, yeah, I could do that. But as long as they change their mind, I don't give a... If they have to take credit, which we know is BS. But I'm just hoping that eventually merge,
and it's like with my cousin when COVID first came out, I guess about a year into it, I had already been vaxxed twice by that point. I was waiting to be able to get my booster. And my cousin was like, well, I'm not going to do that. Da, 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 da. I'm like, dude, you've got COPD.
Yeah.
You need to take the vaccine to protect yourself. It's the minute that my other cousin and her husband both got it, that's when her brother was like, I'll call my doctor this morning. I'm going to go get my vaccines tomorrow. And I'm like, good for you. And I could have done it. And I told you so. And it was this close to popping out of my mouth. And I thought,
I
that's
know.
not going to help.
Right.
So I just said, good. I'm glad you're going to do that. I said, I want you around for a while longer. And I don't want you disappearing on me. And so, So at least, and now it's like every time somebody tells him or he sees it on TV, some wild cockamamie story, I'm the one he calls. Well, I just heard that such and so did this, that, the other. I'm like, okay, no, stop. Let's go back to the facts. This is what happened. This is who was involved. You can Google it, look it up for yourself, And so I've kind of pulled him back from the edge of the cliff a few times. It's like, if that's all my abilities are good for, then good. That's one less person that's...
Well, the fact that he actually listened to you, because a lot of time when I bring things up, they could always top me. Like I'll say, think about it. Liz Cheney was for Donald Trump until the day before January 6th. She voted for him 80%. What would make it change? It had to be because she realized, holy moly. Yeah. And I had an aunt who had a good answer, and I couldn't fact check it while I was looking. They have answers for it every time.
I'm gonna use my witch's deck. It's like if I just convince one person to not drink the Kool-Aid, then I figure I'm successful. It's because there are people that are going to believe what they're going to believe, and there's nothing you can say to change their mind. And all you can do is just
I'm actually happy that I have a lot of Republicans in my life, because if I just hung out with my Democrats here, it's too much to the left, and I would not see that the Republicans in my life are not what you see on the news.
Right. And I know some that are that extreme and then some, but most of them are just in the middle of the road. Right. They just want the government to work and work for them. They want their taxes to mean something. Yeah. They don't want their Social Security taken away from them. No. They don't want to pay exorbitant prices at the gas pump. It's like, I don't either, but if you're going to blame somebody, blame the person who's responsible, not someone who has no control over it.
You know what? They don't do that. What they'll do is like, you know what? I'm sick of Trump, but we have to get rid of Biden too. So both of them have to go. And I don't say nothing because I don't feel like arguing because I've been doing that for years. So I'm like, okay, all right, So I'm like, at least they're like not thinking what the name is not good. So I'm like, I'm just happy about that.
Yeah, I've had a few of them at work that are extreme right-wing that have made comments. I said, you didn't want your Social Security when you retire? Well, yeah, that's my money. And I said, well, then why do you want to vote for someone who has publicly stated their number one goal is to take it away? I said, explain that to me. And that usually stops them in their tracks. And well, that's not true. I said, go look it up. Go watch the videos. I said, they're giving rallies telling people our number one goal is to take away Social Security and Medicare, and or
And
make it.
it's not funny with the people in the back. I'm like, although the hired people, they look too like happy.
A lot of them are. A lot. Trump was famous for that. 80% of the people that you would see at his rallies, even when he was at the pinnacle, were paid people. They would run.
Yeah, it's just for the theme. I'm like, I don't know.
You know, it just. Yeah, I mean, if anybody has any questions, please feel free to put it in.
Do general.
But in the meantime, we're just going to pull a collective card here. And,
Okay. What I'm getting right here, you see, it's like Six of Cups and Knight of Pentacles. What I'm getting is that people starting to feel better about, even though there's a lot of craziness still going on, people starting to feel like things are going back. It's never going to go back, but back to like.
Well, and I don't want it to go back to the way it was because it wasn't perfect that way.
I feel like now, like even for me, I'm feeling the energy of like hope again. I don't know. It seems like the light are working more than the dark. The dark are fighting hard, but I feel like we're getting that extra help. So I feel like people are getting back to that. They're starting to feel that, at least for this group of people here.
Yeah, it's like.
And look, funny enough, is that your vibration is rising. So our vibration is rising. Or the energy, or we're getting help from something outside of ourselves.
Exactly.
This is where we're at right now.
I pulled an oracle from my new witches deck, so I have to read the book because I'm still learning this one. But it's the Athane, I think is how you pronounce it. I don't know. I've heard this stupid thing pronounced in so many different ways that. But isn't that a great picture? Beautiful. This is boundaries, and what it talks about is. Focus on what's truly important. Honor your beliefs in yourself. Don't give in to superficial demands of others. Set clear boundaries, and allow yourself to benefit from energy healings. You know, there's a lot of people in our community that are Reiki healers and you know, whatnot. That. I mean, I've gotten several people that have done long distance healings on me for little things. That's like, you know, yeah, that really works. That actually helped a lot. So, not everybody believes in that, and you know that's okay too. You know, not everybody believes in ghosts. It's like, you know, I've had people who are like, I can't believe you believe in ghosts. I said, well, when you've seen one and lived with one, you tend to believe in it. Bye, Dally. And bye, Lisa. Lisa's got to go too. And
you know, I'm getting like, we're going back to what I was saying, like, you know, because it's so, I think people, whether they want to admit or not, they're starting to see like the sneaky stuff, and you know, things are not gelling, making sense. You know, they're fighting. There's too many different opinions to fight, and the dark stuff that's coming about. So that's why we're starting to see people work together a little bit, whether they want to admit to it or not. They're starting to work together a little more. And I belong to different groups that work on collective energy healing, and for a while. Right, for a while, like 2018, 19, they're like, we're pretty in the dark. I hope we make it at humanity. Nothing that we haven't heard, like what, you know, other people have said. That's why Linda.
Most of this stuff I've heard all of my life from one side or the other. I've heard people, you know, blame the other side, or if we don't do something, it's going to all be over. It's like, okay, first, take a breath. Step away from the Kool-Aid glass, take a breath, and think about what you're saying, because it makes no sense. And so, you know, that's all you can, I mean, all you can do is just, if nothing else, get people to just stop and think, you know.
Well, you know how a lot of times the Republican, they worry about, they say that it's usually the liberal side that tend to have country that become so, communism, stuff like that. And I tell them, I go, listen, Trump was a Democrat, and his family was a Democrat. So he's working with people that he just happened to be working on the right because it just benefit to his agenda. He's the shapeshifter. So it goes to show it's both sides. Right now, it happens to be that.
We tend, as a country, to swing like a pendulum all the way to one side, then all the way back.
We know that Democrats are up to no good. It's just that right now, I guess the foreign leaders that are paying off these people on the right, that's just where it is. They have to do that because remember, psychological warfare 101. They're going to do something that what people not expecting, meaning like it not being the left, it being the right, that's doing that shady stuff.
Yeah, like I said, as a country, to swing back and forth. The trend will go all the way one direction, and then it'll swing back and go all the way the other direction. It's to get it to slow down when it kind of gets in the middle. Because that's one thing I tell everybody is like,
I think that's where
the whole point of politicians and leadership within our government is you're going to have two different sides. This side wants this side wants that. But the adults in the room are the ones that meet in the middle and say, okay,
yes,
what am I willing to give up? What are you willing to give up? What am I really pushing on I think should be done? What are you really pushing on that you think needs to be done?
Biden is doing a good job.
Let us, bye Heather, and let's meet in the middle and then decide what's best for the country as a whole.
Yeah.
And that's
guys, that's how it was, right? In the 70s, 80s, it was more like around there.
And I also just pulled, your ancestors are with you in spirit.
Oh, that's good.
So, we just got to remember that they're there to help us individually and collectively, both. I mean, hi, Rondell. Hi, Linda.
We got the Ace of Cups and the Ace of Swords. What happened is a lot of people, especially like our peers that went into conspiracy theory, and we would never think they went into it because they were going by half truth. Like you're saying the obvious, but then it's twisting it towards the good people. That they're the one who's doing that. People starting to listen to their intuition again. It's because we are getting help from the universal stuff.